For this lab, we're going to be examining how kinetic energy works and how it's affected by potential energy and mass. So to begin, make sure your name is on your document here and that you have it ready to go. And our first question to consider is, if the height from which a car rolls increases, in other words, if I were to raise the ramp, the kinetic energy of that object will increase, decrease, or stay the same. So go ahead and circle the response you think is best. Will it increase, decrease, or stay the same? If the mass of the car increases, we're going to be rolling this car down a ramp, and you can see I have a washer taped on. Initially, I'm not going to put the washer on, but then we're going to put the washer on. What do you think is going to happen if I add the washer to increase the mass? Will the kinetic energy of the car rolling down increase? Will it decrease, or will it stay the same? Circle your response for that as well. For this lab, we are going to need a small car, which I showed you a moment ago, a meter long board. Right here, I have that. A ruler, 4 textbooks right here, a meter stick. I'm just going to use this tape measure, but meter stick will work great too. And a washer, which I showed you a second ago, was taped to the car. So our first step in the procedure is with the members of the group, find a place on the floor that will serve as a workspace. And your teacher may tell you where that will be. I already have a workspace right here. Secondly, we're going to place the board on the floor and put 2 books on your one end. Got that done right here for the board and the 2 books at the end. Then I'm going to lay a meter stick on the floor nearby the end of the board. So here is my tape measure right at the end of the board. But you can put your meter stick right there. That's fine too. And step 4 then is to measure and record the height from the floor to the top of the board. So this is our first step where we're going to write something down. I'm going to go ahead and measure to the nearest centimeter, and that comes out to be about 10 centimeters for 2 books. So you can record that for the height, 10 centimeters. Step 5, hold the car so that the back wheels are at the top edge of the board. Let the car go, but do not push it. See if this will work the first time through. It doesn't always. All right, and the car went a total distance of 36 centimeters. So write that down on your chart. 36 centimeters. Step 6, measure and record the distance the car travels along the floor from the lower edge of the board in the unweighted vehicle table. Also, record the speed of the car as slow, medium, or fast. So I just recorded the distance it traveled, which was 36 centimeters. And just to clarify, you're going to want to do this in that yellow table. So make sure you're recording the distance there. And the speed of the car was slow, so you can circle slow. Next, add a 3rd book to the stack. Then repeat steps 5 and 6. The height of the book stack is 14 centimeters approximately. We'll round up. Let's put the car on, and we'll see how far this thing goes. All right, this time it went about 80 centimeters. So for 2 book, you can record 80 centimeters. And the speed was a little faster this time, so let's write medium for that. So you can circle medium. Step 8, add a 4th book. Repeat steps 5 and 6 one last time. So I will measure. The height here is about 17 centimeters. So make sure you record that on your table. Let's put the car on and see what it does. All right, that one turned, but it seemed to have gone to about 85 centimeters. So we can write 85 centimeters down. And that one, this time went fast. So step 9 says, finally tape a washer to the same vehicle and repeat the procedure with 2, 3, and 4 books. Only record your measurements in the weight and vehicle table. So this time we're going to be doing it in the green table down below. So I'll go ahead and add the washer to the car. Tape that on. Hopefully it takes the last. And we're going to start with 2 books as before. To save yourself a little bit of time here, you can copy 10 centimeters, 14 centimeters, and 17 centimeters, the heights of the books from the yellow table into your green table, because the heights of the books won't change. They can use the same heights, and that will save us some time. So we already know that this is 10 centimeters. You can mark that down for 2 books if you haven't already. And then let's see what this car does with the washer on it. Okay. This time it went almost 92 centimeters. So we'll put 91. 91 centimeters. Okay. And that went, let's say medium this time. Slightly faster than the slow of the other one. Or the 3rd book. Let's try it again. Okay. It made it up to this line on the table. So that was 191 centimeters. We'll write that down. And it was fast this time. Add another book to the stack for our last run. And let's see if this tape will last one more time. We'll run it down and see what happens. There we go. All right, and we ran out of space. But that made it all the way to the end, which was about 290 centimeters. So we can write down 290 centimeters here. And that one went fast. Now that we are done conducting the lab, let's answer a few questions. First off, how did the height of the starting point affect the distance and speed the car traveled on the floor? So think about it this way. As we raised the ramp up higher, how did that impact how far the car traveled? Did it travel farther when the ramp was higher? Did it go the same distance, or did it travel less far than it had before? How did it affect the speed as well? Did the car travel faster when the ramp was higher, the same speed, or did it go slower? So record how raising the ramp affected the speed of the car and the distance it traveled on this line right here. When you're done with that, answer the next question. How did the added mass affect the distance and speed the car traveled? So as we added additional mass by putting the washer on, did that make the car go farther, the same distance, or less far than it had before? And how did it affect the speed? Did it cause the car to go faster, the same speed, or slower as we raised the ramp? So you can record your answer down here on this line. Now that we are done with the questions on the next page, we're going to create a graph to show our results. And for this graph, we'll go ahead and graph how far the car went with
the washer on. So I'm going to grab a shape up here. This is probably the easiest way to do it, and just get a rectangle. And I'm going to drag it over the 2 books. And for our 2 book height, where the ramp was 2 books high, the distance the car traveled for our trial was 91 centimeters. So I'm going to raise it about in the middle of 80 and 100 there to mark 91. And then if you click on it, you should have a plus sign. Mine's on the computer, so it's a little different, but I'm going to choose duplicate and use the same size rectangle. I'll drag it over here to 3. For 3 books, the car went 191 centimeters. So I'm going to drag it up between 180 and 200 to show that. And then I'm going to duplicate this once more, drag it over to 4 books. And for 4 books, the car traveled to the end of the table, which was about 290. So I'm going to move it so that it's between 280 and 300. And then I can come back here and I can change the colors. If we click on it, you can click on the color just to make it stand out for the different distances that the car traveled. And I'll make this one a different color. And now I can show how the car traveled different distances based on the starting point. We've graphed it here on the back.